right, hey guys, Mr. Kyle Myers Mathematics, and today we're going to take the practice test, the digital, paper version of the digital, I should say, practice test number 5, and just so that I can remind myself, I put it up here at the top here, 27 questions, 35 minutes, which I will be giving myself that amount of time, so I won't be teaching through it. I'll mainly just be taking it. I will be kind of thinking out loud as I go, but I'll mainly just be taking it so that way I can show you what it looks like and maybe what sorts of things you should be doing as you take it, some good testing practices and that sort of thing. So that gives me about 78 seconds per question. Roughly speaking, I think it's just under that. So I'll be trying to keep to, my normal recommendation is to try to keep to 60 seconds if you can help it, roughly per question. A little bit less than that at the beginning because the question should be a little easier, and maybe just a little bit more until it gets closer to the actual average as you keep going. General rule of thumb, that's what I'm going to try to keep to. So I've actually got it pulled up off to the side. So if you see me looking over off to the side, that's what I'm doing. I've got it, the test itself, pulled up off to the side, and if I forget to put it in the description below, let me know, because sometimes I forget to put things in there, but I will try not to forget to put it in there. It's practice test number 5. You can just Google it. Yeah, and we'll start a timer and we'll get into it here. So timer for, I'm actually going to do a stopwatch, I think. That way I can see the time going up rather than down. All right, and you guys can of course see the time elapsing as we go through the video as well, so you'll be able to keep me keep me honest over here. That we'll have exactly 35 minutes. So we're gonna go ahead and jump in, and then I'm gonna get out of here and begin. All right, so I'm gonna scroll. All right, number 1, graph system non-linear equation shown below. Solution x, y to the system. Looks like 4 or 5. So C. All right. Yeah, so 130. Okay, it's got depending on the wording, that was either going to be 130 or it could have been 120, but fortunately there's no option for 120. Why intercept? Looks like 8. Crap. Okay, almost thought there was going to be some sort of trick to that, but there was not. There shouldn't be any tricks because we're still in the beginning of it. Solution to the system. Well, R is definitely 3, so it's not D. And that'd be this is 21. So 6. So 3, 6, so B. Okay. Let's see. What's the best description of the function f? Negative 1, 0, 1, 2, 16, 17, 18, 19. Yeah, that's definitely linear. Going up, increasing linear. B. Right. Gosh, this value. A lot of systems questions on this one. Looks like 4. Okay. Best description of the function f. Oh, we already did that. Okay, wait, I'm on I'm on 7. I looked back at 5. Range of the 7 scores. So that'd be the biggest minus the smallest. Why do I have my scientific out? I should have had my graphing calculator out. Oh well. 52 looks like it's the highest. I think they're in order. Yeah, they are in order. Oh, well, that makes it easier. So 52 minus 23 is 29. Okay, cool. Number 8. Okay, x is less than, greater than, equal to. Yeah, equal to. Those are vertical angles. You don't even need the lines to be parallel for that, but I don't know. I guess they just they just wanted it to look more confusing than it needed to be. All right, 9 equation. Some minutes daylight between x. There's a non-daylight on a particular day. Okay. For a total of 1440, which I think is what was that, like 24 times 60, something like that. Day has 670 minutes of daylight. How many minutes of non-daylight? Oh, you just subtract from 1440. So yeah, I'll just use the calculator. I could do that in my head, but I'll just save the mental headspace for more complicated questions. So 1440 minus 670, 770. Okie doke. Scouts 20 employees right now from 4 employees at a company. Okay. 16 of the employees in staff will enroll in exactly 3 professional development courses this year. Best estimate of the number of employees at the company who are enrolled. Oh, so it'd just be proportional. So this is a proportion. So 20 out of 400 would be 1 out of 20. So 1 out of 20. Um, yeah, 1 out of 20 would equal 16 out of 16 employees are enrolled in exactly. Hold on. Let me write this out because I'm trying to do the proportion in my head, but it's probably not wise. Let's see. So 20 employees at random from all 400 employees. So 20 are selected out of 400. So the sample is 20, the total is 400. 16 in the sample are enrolled out of the 20, and we're trying to figure out what would that mean for the whole thing. Okay, there we go. Okay, so then that would be 1 over 20, and then that would be crisscross, so then that would be x is equal to 16 times 20. Okay, so then that would be what, 320. So 320, which is B. Okay, I don't know why that was throwing me off for some reason. Like I was just like wanting, like it looked like I was about to get it, and then I was like, all right, yeah, whatever. Anyways, blah 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 blah. What's the value of x minus 7? Well, if you divide everything by 4, you'd get x minus 7. So that would just be negative 24 divided by 4, which would be negative 6. So C. Okie doke. For a snowstorm in a certain town, minimum rate of snowfall recorded was 0.6 inches per hour. Maximum rate of snowfall recorded was 1.8. Okay, so minimum 0.6, maximum 1.8. Yeah, so it would just be between the minimum and the maximum. Per hour, inches per hour, S, inches per hour. Yeah, it looks like there's no tricks, so it would just be 0.6 to 1.8, so D. Okay. Solution with x is greater than 0. What's the value of x? Okay. So it looks like we could have a value of x that's less than 0, but they're saying don't ignore that other value or whatever. Okay. Yeah, because, well, let's see. So 4x would equal that. So this would be 0 equals, if you set them equal to each other, you get that, and then you would subtract the 4x over, so it'd be x squared minus 4x minus 12. And then that'd be what, 6 and 2? So positive 6 and negative 2, so positive 6. So 13 would be 6. All right, let's start to zoom out just a little bit so you guys can see these previous answers. Move this over here. There we go. That way it's not cut off when I get down to the bottom by my face. 14. A store sells 2 different size containers of blueberries. Yum. Price in dollars of each smaller container. Okay, this looks like a system question. Okay, so there's the small one and the large one. So small plus large. So if you just add up the sales of the small and the large, then that would equal. Oh, they already gave you the equation. Duh. Okay, hold on. So that's x number of small containers, so y is the number of large containers. What is the price in dollars of each smaller container? Oh, this is just an interpretation question. Pff, what am I doing? I was thinking this is a systems. It's set up like a system, but no, that would be x is the smaller, so the price in dollars of the smaller container is 451. Dollar bills. Okay. Right circular cylinder. Okay. Base diameter of height of what is the volume of the cylinder? Okay, so the volume formula, and that's on the formula sheet, but it's also good to just kind of know it. Cylinders are going to be pi r squared times height. So that's going to be pi 3.14159265. Base diameter. Cubic centimeters, that's centimeters, so we don't need to convert anything. Diameter is 22, so that's a radius of 11. And that's times by 6 for the height. Volume. Oh, and they actually include pi in that, so I'm actually going to want to not use the pi, just do 11 squared times 6, so 121 times 6. Oh, come on, 121. I don't like this calculator that much. Times 6. 726 is what I got, which is C. All right, number 16. Now notice I'm starting to slow down a little bit because it's like, all right, you just like start off like, all right, let's get at this, and then you just like kind of like get into your pace, almost like cross country. Okay, oh, we're just shifting it. Okay, so this graph, but shifted up 5. Well, it looks like it goes through the point 10, 10, 1, so it should be 10, 6. 10, 6, so D. Looks like D. There we go. All right, and then for number 17, at a particular track meet, the ratio of coaches to athletes is 1 to 26. If there are X coaches at the track meet, which following expressions represents the number of athletes at the track meet? I just totally blanked for a second. What? It was like I was reading it, but I wasn't reading it. Ratio of coaches to athletes is 1 to 26. Okay. X coaches. Oh, it would just be 26X. Yeah, so B. It's like totally blanking there for a second. It was like not focused. Okay. Kaylani. Weird name. This is such a weird question. Y minus 5x is equal to 6. Best interpretation of 6 in this context. Okay, this is an interpretation type question. Okay. Used fabric measuring 5 yards in length to make each suit. So then X is the suits. Yeah, so X is the number of suits. Total length is Y. This is like all past tense. So it seems like she purchased a certain amount of. This is such a weird question because it makes no sense. Like if you were to actually try to create a scenario here, but it looks like 6 is the leftover amount. Used a total, purchased 6 more yards of fabric than she used. Yeah, it's worded weird, but X is the number of suits, so it's not A. She purchased Y yards of fabric, so it's not B. Used a total of 6 yards of fabric to make the suits. No. Yeah, 6 is what's left over, so that's D. Oh, that's a weird question. I don't like that at all. Value of the tangent of 92 pi thirds. So weird. Okay. I wonder if the calculator can just do this. Hold on. Am I in radians? I am in radians. Oh, they want the exact answer. Oh, you know what though? I don't have to do that. So like we'll just do this. So tangent of, because I don't feel like doing the math for that. So I'm going to just do tangent pi. Tangent of 92 pi thirds. Let's see what that is. Negative 1.73. So that's going to be negative square root of 3. So that's A. I don't play no games. Oh, what's the value of the cosine of x? 11/28, which doesn't simplify. So 11/28, 21. If you guys are not already following along, make sure you have the document pulled up, because otherwise you're just listening to me talk. So definitely pull up the document, because if you don't, you're missing out on like over half of what's going on here. Because I'm looking at the document, but I want you guys to see the work that I'm doing if I need to do any work for these problems. So definitely, 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 um, yeah, yeah, pull up the document if you haven't already. Defined by this t is a constant. Passes to the point 24 comes 0 plus the value of g of 0. Okay. Weird. All right, so g is y, so y is equal to x plus 14 t minus x. So that's like an intercept. Well then, I guess wouldn't it have to be? I guess it would just be 24 then. The value, well, no, but I think t is going to end up being 24 because if y is 0 so negative 14 comma 0 is also another point, but if y is 0, then t would have to be x, then x would need to be 24, and then that would make t 24 to subtract and give you 0. So that means t is 24. But they want the value of g of 0, so that means we're going to be plugging in 0. So y is equal to 0 plus 14, and then that's going to be 24 minus 0, so 24. So the answer is going to be 14 times 24. That was actually kind of a fun one, like a little puzzle. 14 times 24, 336. Okay, cool. Yeah, that one was kind of fun. 22, that's a circle. Blah, 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 blah. Which following is a possible value for A? So the point AB lies on the circle. Possible value for A. Well, good question. It might help to actually just kind of like sketch it real quick. Now I'm using like some graph paper type stuff here, but you might not have graph paper. You don't have to have graph paper. You just can kind of like sketch it. So if I went over like 4 spaces, that'd be about, like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 19. Okay, so it's over here somewhere, right? And then 121, so it would have a radius of 11, so it's going to be like that. Okay, so from -4, then it would go from, so -4 is the center, and then it's going to go 11 spaces either way. So that would be -4 minus 11 would be -15. And that would be including that. And then -4 plus 11 would be 11 minus 4, which would be 7. So it looks like we can have any value that's between -15 and 7. So -14 is the only one that fits. There we go. All right. 23. Right rectangular prism. Okay, so a box. Height of 9. Length is x. 7 more than the width. In terms of the length. Okay. So if x is the length, okay, yeah, and the length is x. So it's just going to be 9 times x, and then the length is, 7 more inches than the width. Yeah, so just be w plus 7. Okay, or x plus 7, I should say. So c. Okay. We're almost done, guys. And we're about 17 minutes in. Now, I think I'll probably just end it when I get to the end. I normally wouldn't. Like, if I'm taking it for real, I would probably go back and check all my answers. But just to keep the video a little bit on the shorter side, I'll probably just end it once we get to the end. So, which of the following functions has a minimum value at -3? Well, let's see. So, a minimum value at -3. Both of those are exponential. A minimum value would be like a value that it actually approaches. But it's a horizontal asymptote because they're exponential functions, so they're going to have horizontal asymptotes. So there wouldn't be a minimum value. So it should be neither. That's a weird question. Hopefully they worded that question correctly. because technically there wouldn't be a minimum value at all. So I'm going to say D, neither the first option or the second option. I don't know if they're going to agree with me on. I hope they do. But technically speaking, a horizontal asymptote is not a value. It's more of like the absence of a value. Anyways, result of increasing the quantity x by 400% is 60. What's the value of x? This is a fun little one. Okay, so the result, meaning it's going to equal, of increasing the quantity of x by 400%. So 400% of x. So the result of increasing the quantity x by 400% of x is 60. Okay. Well, then that's 1x plus 4x. 400% is just 4, so 1x plus 4x. So that's 5x. So then that would be x is equal to 12. So that's A. I know I'm like boxing some of these, and some of these I'm not, but you know, it is what it is. All right, 26. We can zoom back in a little bit. Okay. Function is defined by blah, blah, blah. Okay, so it's in standard form. X, y plane passes the points. Okay, so those are the x-intercepts. A is an integer. Oh, okay. Yeah. Greater than 1, which could be the value of A plus B. Oh, interesting. Okay, cool. Well, if we know the x-intercepts, then we know that y is equal to A, x minus the first intercept, x minus the second intercept, which would be x plus 3. So we know that's the case. Which the following could be the value of A plus B. Well, let's do this. Okay, so y is equal to A x squared minus 4x minus 21. Ax squared minus 4ax minus 21a. So A is just A, but B is equal to negative 4 times A. B is equal to negative 4 times A. So and if A is an integer greater than 1, an integer greater than 1 would mean just a natural number greater than 1. So I think there's probably a more complicated way to do this, but I'm going to do it the simple way. I'm just going to plug stuff in because it's multiple choice. So I don't need to try to do this the hard way. So let's just start with 2. If A is 2, so let's just do this. So A and B. If A is 2, then B would be negative 8. And then that sum would be negative 4. They don't have negative 4. Okay. What if A is 3? Be negative 12. So then that sum would be negative 9. All right, they don't have that. 4 times negative 4 would be negative 16. That would be negative 12. Right, they don't have that either. Looks like, so negative 6, so then the sum, A plus B, so that's negative 6, negative 9, negative 12. Oh, wait, hold on, they have negative 6. What am I doing? Duh. 2 minus 8 is negative 6. Yeah, so they have that. And then from there, it just gets more and more negative. So they do have that. I don't know why I skipped over option A. Okay. So that was 26. And then we have the last one, 27. Here we go. Function g is defined by blah, 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 blah. Okay. G of 7 minus w is 0. What is the sum of all possible values of w? Wow. Okay. Um, wow, this is interesting. Okay. So it's in factored form. It's in factored form. So then we know all the x-intercepts. This function would have one like right there, and then at 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that's a squared, and that's a degree of 4. So, and then it bounces off of that one, and it's going to cross through the other two. So that's a rough sketch of what the graph would look like. G of 7 minus w. So if I plug in 7 minus w, g of 7 minus w. So that's literally everywhere you see an X, you put a 7 minus W instead. So 7 minus W minus 2 would be 5 minus W. 7 minus W plus 6. So that's going to be 13 minus W. And then that's squared. So this new graph has different intercepts, basically. Oh, okay. So this is not that bad actually. So we're just trying to. So now the intercepts would be 7, 5, and 13. So those are all the intercepts where W is a constant, sum of all possible values of W. Yeah, so W would be I'm maybe I'm not thinking about this enough right now, but it seems like right now, maybe I'm getting duped by this question right now, but it looks like if those are the intercepts, those are the solutions, sum of all possible values of W would be 5, 7, and 13. If you add them up, you'd get 12 plus 13 is 25. Maybe I'm not thinking about that right, but again, so at this point, that's all the questions. So I'll pause my time right now. So I'm actually at 24 minutes and 32 seconds, 38 milliseconds or whatever. So that's where I'm pausing it right now. At this point, I've still got like a whole 10 minutes. So what I would probably do, and let me pull this over. So pull this over so you guys can see this. So pull this over here. And I have the other tabs pulled up for the answers and everything, but I'm not tabbing over. I'm just looking at the questions. Scouts honor, or however, whatever symbol that was. I never was in the Boy Scouts. But so lost my train of thought. So yeah, so at this point, what I would probably do is I would probably just go back and look over the first few questions because I went through those pretty quickly. Right. So the first thing I would do is probably just run back through the first few, just kind of look them over, right, and kind of look at them fresh because I haven't seen them in a little bit, right? Not for a whole 25 minutes or so. And then from there, I'd probably skip around. I didn't mark any of them because I didn't feel like any of them were particularly tricky. If you feel like you're not completely confident in the answer choice that you picked, then I would definitely mark it and come back to it later. I didn't feel like any of them were that way. I feel like some of them could have been worded better. But the only one that I thought was worded kind of weird was I forgot what it was. Possible value of A. No. There was one that was worded kind of weird. I think it was this. Yeah, 18 was worded kind of weird, but D was the only choice that made sense out of the four. So, I mean, even though it was worded kind of weird, it's like, well, yeah, but I wouldn't waste any time coming back to that one because there's no other choice that makes any sense, other than D. I don't know if I would have worded it like that because I think that's worded really dumb, but they do that on purpose sometimes to throw you off. So, yeah, what I would do is I would kind of skim through the rest of them, and then I would probably come back to 27 because I didn't feel really confident in my answer there. I would come back and I would check it. But let's go ahead and look through. So let's go ahead and we'll pull these side by side. That's the answer explanations. Let's look through over here. So we'll see if I can blow this up, and we'll look back over here. So these are the answers. And actually, you know what? I'll let you guys be the ones to check it, and I'll look at it outside of the video and make sure I didn't miss any. But I feel pretty confident. Yeah, actually, that last one, yeah, I definitely should have checked that one a little more because I was like, yeah, I don't feel confident in that 25, but it was like the only thing that was coming to mind so far. But I was like, yeah, it just doesn't feel right. So yeah, I definitely would not have got that right unless I came back to it and spent more time on it, which I definitely would have if I was taking the test for real, for real. I would have looked back at some of the earlier questions, then gone back to 27 and give that one another look there. So, yeah, just by kind of glancing at it, it looks like all these answers are looking familiar. Did I do 66? 66 does not look familiar, actually. 21. What did I put for 21? What did I put for 21? Oh, wait, 21 I had. Oh, hold on. I think I got 21 wrong. Okay, well, I'll score it after this, and we'll see. So, anyways, that's the conclusion of this, and you can let me know how I did, because I'm not gonna score it during this video. But yeah. So hopefully that's helpful. You can see how you're supposed to go through the test and how you're supposed to answer the questions. And yeah, so go check out the other stuff that's on YouTube, on my channel, Myers Mathematics, and on my website, myersmathematics.com. Link in the description below. I have the 5 math mistakes everyone makes and how to avoid them. You can check that out as well. And catch you in the next video. Blessings, y'all.